Hey everyone, so I'm back to do another video. Basically on this bike here. I guess we could start here with what I'm doing. So I moved the back tire back about 5.5 inches. Now I did put a rod inside the tubing here. I didn't here, but down here I did on both sides. However, I wanted a little extra strength. So what I did was I put this piece of metal flat stock in there and welded that in. Uh, Definitely a strong uh, area right here, as well as here. Now this one I already polished up. Same thing on the other side. I just have to do the bottom here, polish that up, clean it up. But looking pretty good, so I moved it back 5.5 inches to make better clearance of the valve cover. The motor was like right there, the valve cover, and I couldn't bring it back any further because of the battery. So I went ahead and just gave the frame 5.5 inch extension and put in these pieces of flat stock. Kind of like how I turned them in a little bit. Gives it a little extra, style, I guess. So, did that. Oh, and the kickstand, I cut that right where I welded it before, brought it down because the bike was really leaning. I mean, it looked like that thing was going to fall over. So I went ahead, cut that, brought it down, which brought the bike over. And so now it's more upright, which of course I like that. That's good. Now, back to over here. So tomorrow I have the camshaft and the billet rod coming in. I've been doing work on this, getting it ready. Got it all cleaned up. I got the bearing here out that would normally hold the balance stabilizer. The way I got it out, so there is the bearing. So I didn't have a, let me set this right here. I didn't have a slide, a big old heavy metal slide like Redbeard's Garage. I got this idea watching his shows. So he welded a rod onto the bearing. Now he has a big old metal slide and he slams it up and pops that sucker right out. Well, I don't have a big old metal slide, but what I do have is plenty of steel. Different pieces of angle iron and flat stock. So I just welded a piece of angle iron on there and took the hammer right here, right there, and tapped it until it came out. It only took about 2 or 3 shots and it came right out. So anyhow, went ahead and cleaned it all up, made sure it's nice and polished through and through. Same thing with the cylinder here. I oiled it up. I don't want any flash rust going on. I did take off the bearing off of this, but getting it back on is no big deal. I made this here. This here will slide over. Oh, there we go. It'll slide over, and it is a good diameter. Let me check it, make sure. Yes, it's a good diameter. It'll slide right up on there, and I'll be able to tap it right in. Actually, I don't know. Seems like it might be a little too good a fit, a little bit too large. So what I'm going to do is tap these in, crimp them in a little bit, just a tad, just a little bit, and then it'll be good to go. So still, that's good, right there. I took this off, because, well, I don't know. I just, I took it off because I could. Wasn't hard, but it wasn't easy either. So This here is ready to go. I went ahead and polished up the piston. Got everything all cleaned up and polished up on it, so that's ready to go. This here, the head, now this is fun right here. So the head usually will have this one-way breather built into it, which is okay, you know, unless of course you have other plans like I do. And now I could have got a billet valve cover, which I plan to do as well, you know, eventually. But for now, I went ahead and took that piece out. Oh yeah, look at that. Ooh, beautiful. Black Venom series. Oh yeah. All right, so let me take this here. This is what I did. All right, so I got a fitting here. This here will match the hose that I use. These here, I put those on there, which of course are also really good. Let me set this back right here and I'll show you real quick. Which side? All right, the valve cover. Yeah, I use this gasket maker. It has a gasket thing there, but and the gaskets that I got, that I ordered, they're weird. You know, they cover all the way around here up to about here, and they cut off. It's like, wait a minute, you know. It's like, whatever. I'll just go through like OMB Warehouse or Go Power Sports or something like that, and I'll get some gaskets. But for now, this here will do. So anyhow, these here, they'll hook up to those, and then the bigger one will go to my catch can. So that's pretty much the plan for that. Let me see where we get this back on there. There we go. Nice and pretty. And let me put this back on there. Now, I will be taking the springs out. I will be doing that again because I thought they were the 50-pound valve springs, but I don't believe they are, and for a good reason, because they're actually sitting there. 50-pound valve springs. Go figure. I was like, well, that's where they went. So, anyhow, yeah. So, I'll be putting those in there. Also, to remove the valve springs, I made this here. Now, before it's just a rod or a piece of flat stock, but with some of the higher pressure valve springs, it was bending too much. So I went ahead and did this up today, and the handle, so you can see where I added to it. The handle here, I wanted to make sure that it had enough strength, you know, because if this thing was bending under pressure with only a, well, whatever these valve springs are, I believe if they're not the 50, because the 50 is right there, then these here are the 45s. So if this thing's bending with a 45 valve spring, it will definitely bend with the 50. So I added strength to this bar. Now it's homemade. Thank you, Redbeard's Garage. I believe he used something similar without the sides here. He used something similar. It's where I got the idea. I was like, you know, that's not a bad idea. Of course, I put a little groove right here on both sides, so the valve cap, you know, sits right in here and it won't slide off one way or another. And then the bolt that the rocker arm would normally sit on goes through here, and you put your nut on there, you tighten it down, and then you just take like that and you push up like that, and it works like a charm. It really does. It works excellent. Now that thing's got a lot of weight to that tool. It really does. All right, so moving on. Got the push rods here. These ones here without the blue tape are, I believe, the shorter. I believe they're the shorter ones. Yes, they are. All right, so these here should work with this here, I believe. You know, because normally you'd run this plate right here. I had to bend these down, and then I realized, you know what? When you're running all this other stuff, you don't need this plate. This plate is for like the stock push rods. You don't need that. You know, these here won't even fit this. It won't. So take that off, put on your rocker arms. All right. So that there will save a little bit of room when it comes to putting these on, because these here were just a tad short. All right. So that just freed up space right there. Then I shaved down, well, I shaved down the head. That freed up space right there as well. Now, these should work just fine. Well, we'll see. If it don't work just fine, then, well, I guess I'll go ahead and, you know, order some more and give it another shot. So, anyhow, there we go. Want to show you the block, show you what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. Got the gasket maker. I have some, but it's old. I want some gasket maker that's good, you know, new. All right, and I got the plastic gauge that came in as well, so that's good. I also have my torque wrench here. Now this one's actually a small one, but I like it because of how it works. Let me just unzip this thing real quick for you. Yeah, I'm doing all this one-handed. I don't have my tripod out here. All right, so let me flip that around. So that's the name of it right there. And this is it right here. This thing is, it's nice. It's beautiful. I have this extension piece, or this adapter piece on here, because most of the sockets that I'm going to be using, they're, well, they're a little bit bigger. So put on this extension here, and this one here is really awesome. Basically, pull that down, and then you turn it, let it go, and it locks it in place. So this one here, let's see. Yeah, wait, let's see, is it this side or this side? No, this side, yeah. So I believe it goes all the way up to, oh, there you go, 140 foot-pounds, I believe, or something like that. Anyhow, it's a good tool to have. You know, it's small, portable, works good. It's not a Harbor Freight, you know, tool. Now I got one of those. This is a nice big old honking thing, but I hear, you know, you need to break those things in and all that before you use them, and you can bust bolts, you know, if you don't, because they're, you know, they're just cheap, you know, and I'm like, oh, I'm staying away from that for, you know. Yeah, I'm going to use this one here. It's small, it's easy to get into tight areas. You know, I'll use that. Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, yeah, let's see. Got all the tools that I need for doing the job. and doing it right. So there we go. I wanted to show you guys, you know, how everything's coming along, and there we are. That's how everything's coming along. Oh, yeah, this one here, this is this was a while back. Made a mistake. The shroud would have bolted to this, and when I was cutting off a bunch of crap off of it, the gas tank holder, I accidentally lopped that off a little too close. So yeah, that was a mistake, but that's all right. You know, I'll clean that up one day and it'll be good. So anyhow, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I will talk to you all later.